Shalom, I give all undergoing praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakudash, like a double honors to our apostles and elders, a great millstone. Salutations to all your sincere brothers pushing his word out across the four corners of the earth. This is an article from nationalnews.com, and the title says, Fast Food Wrappers Loaded with Toxic Polluting Chemicals. This was published on August 19, 2020. New research put out by Mind the Store and Toxic Free Future warns that the fancy wrappers used at many fast food chains to hold burgers and fries are loaded with so-called forever chemicals that are both polluting and highly toxic to the body. PFAS, or polyfluoroalkyl substances, are used not only in food packaging, but also in carpeting and furniture to keep grease and other substances from penetrating their materials. These water-resistant chemicals do not break down in the environment, having a high persistence and potential for accumulation and hazards. Burger King, McDonald's, Wendy's, Kava, Freshie, Sweet Green, and many other chains utilize wrappers that contain PFAS because they make eating easier and less messy, but at what cost? Researchers collected 38 food packaging samples from 16 locations at 6 different fast food chains in New York City, Washington, D.C., and Seattle. They then tested these samples for PFAS as well as other chemical byproducts that may have leached into the food. In the end, nearly half of all these sample food packages were found to contain dangerously high levels of fluorine, a chemical byproduct of PFAS that is extremely toxic to human health. At least one item from every burger chain accessed, including wrappers for Burger King's Whopper and cardboard containers for the McDonald's Big Mac, tested above the screening level for fluorine, the paper found. The paper bags used to contain nuggets, cookies, fries, and other foods were also found to contain the chemical. Multiple major food chains have now announced new policies on PFAS, so clearly safer alternatives exist and are being used, stated Mike Skade, director of Mind the Store. Those that have not stepped up have the ability to do so. Jump down and says some fast food and grocery chains have voluntarily agreed to eliminate PFAS from their materials. These include Trader Joe's and Whole Foods Market, as well as Taco Bell and Panera Bread. The state of Washington also passed a measure back in 2018 establishing its own limits for PFAS in paper food packaging. You best believe that these different CEOs of these different food and grocery chains are definitely tied in with the elites that actually pull strings in this society. So of course they will come out for disclaimer purposes and to avoid further lawsuits on their corporations, that they will tell the public that they no longer serve PFAS in paper food packaging. That's all lies, because they are definitely tied in with these elites. So they are being pawns or lesser luminaries for the higher ups that actually run things in this society. It says exposure to certain PFAS has been tied to kidney and testicular cancer, thyroid disease, hormone disruption, decreased fertility, lower birth weights, increased cholesterol, and changes in nervous system development, according to a report, experts explain. And that's exactly what these elites want to do to fulfill their New World Order. This is all going to their depopulation agenda. As it says on Georgia Guidestones, to maintain human population under 500 million. So they want these people sick. They want these people to have compromised immune systems. So when they actually leash these different diseases out here, it'll take them out quickly. So these different food chains and grocery chains, CEOs or these corporations are tied in. They are being told what to do. And this is just one of many reasons why this so-called white man, who are the biblical Edomites, has to be taken out of his rulership. Because he's a walking embodiment of death. It's nothing about pro-life for him. He's anti-life. He's death in every situation, in every matter. And this is Hosea 4:1. Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel. Represents you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, and Native Americans today. For the Lord have a country verse with the inhabitants of the land. So Yahweh, Yahushai, the Hebrew name for our Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, has a strife, a quarrel, has a bone to pick with the inhabitants of the land. And those main inhabitants or residents he's referring to are the elites of the Edomite nation, known as the so-called Illuminati, the international bankers. Because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of the Most High in the land. So it's no knowledge of Yahweh, Yahushai, if you try to go to Esau's schools or his different universities. It's not going to be pushed out there. If it is pushed out by them reading the Bible, they're breaking it down wrong. So majority of our people are caught up into that web of Esau's dogma or trickery. Verse 2, by swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out and blood touches blood. And Esau is definitely guilty on all these accounts. Swearing, lying, killing, or really murdering, stealing, committing adultery, blood touches blood. Look how this so-called country was so-called established. Look what they did to our people. The scriptures say you touch the apple of the Most High's eyes. So blood touches blood. This is the book of Psalm, the 82nd chapter, and the 4th verse. Deliver the poor and needy. The poor and needy is representing the Israelites. Rid them out of the hand of the wicked. So the only ones that Yahweh is going to rid or deliver or free are the elect of the nation of Israel. It's levels to it. And the hand of the wicked is definitely talking about these Edomites, beginning with the elites, because they are the wicked, the sinister side of Yahweh. Verse 5, they know not, neither will they understand, because it's not given to this so-called white man to have understanding of the scriptures or have some type of moral innocence. He's not programmed to be like that. You read the book of Romans, the 9th chapter, it talks about Jacob and Esau. Jacob is that vessel of honor, representing our forefather. Esau represents that vessel of dishonor. So nothing he does or going to do is going to be righteous in the eyes of Yahweh. So that's why it says neither will they understand. They cannot understand no type of truth, no type of pro-life, because they are against that. They are deaf. So they know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. As it says in the book of Daniel, none of the wicked shall understand. So by having understanding, you having light, you being illuminated. They're being illuminated on that left-hand side. So therefore, they walk in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. So by them walking in darkness and by them being in power right now, pursuant to the book of Job 9:24, that the earth is given to the hand of the wicked, their vibration is going to spread across the four corners of the world because they're in rulership right now. So that's why these other nations follow suit of what these Edomites do. That's why a majority of our people follow suit what these Edomites do, because they're in control. The power of the earth is in their hand right now. That's why it says all the foundations of the earth are out of course. So everything in this earth is out of its right course. That's by this so-called white man being in rulership right now. For example, look at that movie Lion King. When the righteous owner of that particular land was ruling, look how everything was just sprouting up. It was life everywhere. Everyone was excited and happy, which was Mufasa, the older brother. But after he passed, his younger brother Scar, which represents Esau, look how everything was dim. Look at the vibration of the land, of the animals, of the plants and the trees. Everything was on a low vibration. Everything was out of course. We're not eating real foods. It's called GMOs, genetically modified organisms, that they make in laboratories, but they make it seem like you're eating real food. A lot of these different fruits don't have seeds in them. So all this is chemical made by this so-called white man. And this is nothing but death. That's why the foundation of the earth is out of course. These people you see, you walking around daily, they don't know what the times that we are in. They don't know who they are according to the scriptures. But this foundation of the earth is out of course. And this is the book of Revelation 11 chapter, the 18th verse. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come in the time of the dead, and they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great. And that's going to the elect of the nation of Israel. Because Lord willing, we are part of that hopeful elect. We look forward to Yahweh bringing down this so-called white man's infrastructure and setting us back up in our rightful position as the true rulers on this earth. And should us destroy them, which destroy the earth. So what group of race or people that are destroying this earth right now? They have all the monetary means to go ahead and fly these different planes and spray chemtrails on the people, making them more sick. They polluting the air. They're messing up the ozone layer. They're making certain animals become extinct. That's destroying the earth, because the earth within itself is a spirit. So this whole earth is in a spirit of vexation and depression and suffering by the hands of this so-called white man. So by the earth having that type of vibration on it right now, just imagine what the people are going to be in as well. Majority of these people are on prescription drugs or they on some type of non-prescribed drugs. Depression rates and suicide rates is going up more and more. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. So this whole earth is in a state of mourning. So we complaining to our power, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, to please come back and take this so-called white man out of his rulership. This whole earth is managed by this so-called white man, so therefore he needs to be fired. And once he be fired, he's going to hire the true inhabitants of the land to rule this earth in righteousness. That's why we're looking forward and banking on Yahushua. He's our only hope. So that's sickening to see how the course of this earth is. See the animals in a state of depression. The trees and the plants, you actually look at them, they in a state of depression because those are spirits as well. So as a righteous owner, we want this earth to be back in its rightful course. So this is Ezekiel 9:4. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem. So Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. And set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. So that mark goes into the Hebrew word thawah, which means exemption from judgment, because it's exactly what Yahweh Yahushua is going to bring on this place of America, known as Babylon the Great. Just look at all the abominations and iniquities, all the witchcrafts and sorceries, all the lies we've been taught here, we've just been witnessing here since this so-called country has been established. So we're sighing and crying to our power, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, to take this so-called white man out. We don't have the physical means to go ahead and try to bear arms to take this so-called white man down. Pursuant to the blessing of Genesis, the 27th chapter, he was going to have the fatness of the earth, meaning the best part. And he was also going to rule by the sword. So in our present state of being, we cannot go against this so-called white man against his blessing. That's his blessing that was bestowed upon him by Yahweh. So as a hopeful elect, we in that spirit of waiting, and we banking on Yahushua. And this is Isaiah, the 14th chapter, and the 7th verse. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. So we're looking forward to a time frame when this whole earth will be at rest and quiet. So once this whole earth is at rest and is quiet, we will really witness and see how true of a paradise this whole earth is. So by this earth being in the hands of Esau, the wrongful owner, we're going to continue to see this earth be in a state of mourning. So as the people of Yahweh Yahushua, we're going to be in a state of mourning. We're looking for that day star, which is Yahushua. He's going to come back and set things aright and set things back up in its proper perspective. So that was a quick article I came across. Fast food wrappers loaded with toxic, polluting chemicals. So one thing Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, he's utilizing the angels and also his holy prophets to continue to build that case upon Esau. This is like a spiritual RICO case. So we're complaining, the angels are complaining, our people in the spiritual realm are complaining. So only by right, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, he's going to answer to those complaints. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is going to fire this so-called white man out of his position and set up the rightful management to control and govern this earth under our big brother Yahushua. So with that, hope you always edified. Shalom.